Hello, thank you so much for joining us for AFI Fest 2021 and for this Q&A for AHEDS KNEE. I'm Malin Kahn and I am a programmer with AFI Festivals. I am so pleased to have here with me today, writer and director of AHEDS KNEE, Nadav Lapid. Thank you so much, Nadav, for taking the time to speak with me, and congratulations on this incredible film.
Thanks so much. Thanks a lot.
The film premiered at the Cannes Film Festival earlier this year, where it shared the jury prize with Memoria. Your style is very distinct, and of course there's an intensity to all of your films, but this one has a kind of new directness to it. You've been quoted as saying this movie was a trembling gesture of urgency and movement, a kind of ode to the present, to the here and now. Could you just talk about what that here and now is or was, and what it was that propelled the film forward with such urgency?
I mean, you know, it's interesting because when you talk about here and now, yeah, so as I said, the movie was done with such an urgency, several weeks, even not 3 weeks of script writing, 18 days of shooting, etc., because the feeling was that the urgency is the essence and the truth of the film. And then happened 2020, where suddenly everything was frozen. I mean, we were already ready for Cannes 2020, for the previous Cannes, and then suddenly the film, like many films, but this film was frozen for about 1 year. And no, I'm saying it because we were talking about this actual moment, and I remember that the biggest question since you have suddenly a lot of time to think and to meditate, so I asked myself, how would such a film that was done like a gesture of instinctive gesture of emotions, of sensations, of thoughts, but yeah, with a kind of urgency. For me, the film is a little bit like, you know, like this crazy thing that you do in the night of darkness and in the night of drunkenness. And the next day you wake up in the morning and you, in a certain way, you're happy that these strange things that you did stayed at the night. And I wonder how would it look like 1 year later. So I feel that the movie fits also to the here and now of this actual moment. I mean that I want to believe that it's touching the kind of truth of the present, and I mean, what is exactly this truth? I think it's composed of a lot of things. It's composed of certain political tendencies, of disrespecting in a way, or opposing this idea of total liberty or total freedom. At the same time, I think it's touching this conflicts of people, or this trap in which are falling mainly artists when they always feel that they are right and all the others are wrong. I mean, what do you become when you feel that you are the only seeing one surrounded by blind people? Yeah.
Yeah. And it's also a very personal film. I mean, it's a film about an Israeli filmmaker. You yourself are an Israeli filmmaker, and kind of the complex relationship that he has with his country. There are a few lines that kind of touch on the complexity. Maybe most directly, performatively, is when Y is on stage and he says, "In the city of death, I feel at home." But I was hoping you might unpack a different line for us, which is this: "In the end, geography wins."
Yeah, in the end, geography wins was a sentence that my mother, who was also the editor of my movies, and who passed away just during the editing of my previous film, Synonyms, and in a way, I mean, I think that all of this, I mean, you can find it inside this movie, but it was a sentence that she used to say pretty often. And I guess that because I found this sentence so beautiful, I never asked her what exactly did she mean. I mean, I think that I know that if I'm not mistaken, her intentions was mainly telling my young brother and myself that we must absolutely leave Israel as soon as possible, run away, save our souls, because at the end we will be beaten by the geography. So at the end, which meant, I guess that at the end will become exactly or another detail, geographical detail in this place to which we are opposed or with which we have conflictual relations, etc., etc., etc. So in a way, I guess that basically for me the idea was that yeah, that you can be in resistance to your surrounding, reject, permanent battle. You can try to suppress the place you live in. You can walk in the street of Tel Aviv, closing your eyes and imagining that you walk in the street of Brooklyn, Paris, Berlin, London. That doesn't matter where. But at the end, nothing is stronger than the geography, than the weather, than this thing that surround you, and you yourself at the end become exactly like these people that you maybe identify as enemies, exactly like uh, uh, this road or trees or everything that you recognize as hostile creature, you become a geographic detail.
Mm.
You're beaten by the landscape.
Yeah, and the landscape in the film has a kind of harshness to it as well, or um, a harsh beauty, I guess, maybe that representing the kind of conflict that the character feels towards the country. And you kind of very directly address the politics of cultural and governmental support in the arts. Why is trapped artistically by government funding entities. Payment is withheld until a waiver is signed. There's already a kind of scrappiness with which he's planning his next project. And but ultimately you created a very subversive film, and it is also partially funded by the Israeli government. Were there any challenges for you in procuring that support, or did you have any misgivings about pursuing it?
I must tell you that since this support, I mean I mean, it might sound like details, but sometimes these details are important. I mean, since the budget of the movie is around, I think, 1.5 or 1.6 million euros, and the Israeli investment in the movie is 20,000 euros, which is, if I calculate it like this, it's around 1.7% of the budget. So, I mean, looking backward, since this question is repeated again and again, and I can understand it, maybe it would have. I mean, you should. I think that for filmmakers there are no healthy money, or almost. There's no healthy money, and of course the Israeli money is not healthy. But in a way, 20,000 euros is not enough in order to confront this justified question. I think that, yeah, I mean, actually, what happened is that when the movie was made, it's not like now the situation is great, but then the movie was made, it was maybe the peak of this period of cultural oppression in Israel, and people, like, when they were talking about artistic project that had the kind of maybe political radical nature. They were like starting to whisper or to talk in a low voice or to look around them or to finish the sentences with 3 points, like regarding this film about 3 points, etc., etc. and I felt that trying to get the support of Israeli film funds will put this project in danger. So we decided not to apply to Israeli film funds. And the movie was shot and made and edited only with French and German money, although it's 100% Israeli film, and I'm of course 100% Israeli. Then, you know, when the movie was already finished and no one could prevent it from being shown and done and screened, we applied. I think the movie was already in Cannes there at this period, and we got modest sum of money, but of course I'm thankful. And what I'm trying to say, I wouldn't say that this movie was fabricated with Israeli money. It would be, yeah.
I want to ask about the recurrence of the Israeli army. Characters kind of seem to repeatedly volunteer their own experiences serving, which, as we know, is mandatory in Israel. We have this extended sequence with the young soldiers, and then there is the exchange between Yahalom and Y when she asks him if he has combat trauma, and he responds, "What combat?" Which, of course, implies that there can be trauma without actual combat. Could you talk about your depiction of the army in the film?
I think that in all my movies, and clearly here, the army is in a way the source of the, or the essence of the Israeli disease, and at the same time of the Israeli beauty. I mean, it's a kind of beautiful pervert sickness. I think that I mean on one hand you feel, and again, and I mean, for me it's not, you know, when you say the army, you can sum it up like in, I don't know, in 3 years or something like this of military service, which is already a lot, but I think that it, in a way, it's larger. I mean, I think it's something that I feel as if I began my military service when I was 5 years old, and maybe I'll never finish it. I mean, in the sense that there's a moment when you apprehend, when you get, when you understand what's right and what's wrong, and this right and wrong is related to certain values of manhood. Doesn't matter, but and what's beautiful and what's ugly. I mean, for instance, I I can think a lot of, and I think a lot of negative things about the army, the military service, etc. But at the same time, I cannot ignore the fact that aesthetically, like these uniform things, it's I find it appealing. I mean, whenever I put my camera and there are soldiers in front of it, something I think become very vivid, very sensual. So I think in a way the movie treats this period as the place where everything began, um, and it condemns it and sublime it at the same time.
Um, there is a significant moment of relief in this film, which is on the drive to the library when the Bill Withers song Lovely Day comes on, and we see this character dancing in his home. And this is also kind of where we learn about the specificities of this location in the Arava Valley, the kind of the bell pepper and solar panel industry. I would love it if you could talk a little bit about this character and your intentions with the scene.
Well, yeah, I mean, first of all, I think that you were talking about the landscape, about the kind of harsh beauty, etc. I think that a part of the reason why this beauty is harsh is because I think the movie, a little bit like its main character, is in a kind of permanent confrontation with its location. I mean, it's not one of these movies that try to make a kind of romanticization of the desert. It's not one of these movies about an urban guy who comes to a small village and suddenly or slowly get rid of his I don't know, irony or cynicism, and opened up to the beauty of the simplicity of all these cliche. I think that the movie is in permanent conflict with its with the landscape, which turns the landscape to an element that puts pressure on the movie. It's as if the movie is afraid of the strange beauty of the landscape. It's as if each time that you can see it in a wide glorifying shot, the movie gets scared. The movie run away. I'm saying it because I think also, you know, this guy, this person, I mean, you know, he has his agenda that is not connected to left wing, right wing, free government, anti-government, but it's mainly connected to the future of the peppers in the desert. I mean, he has his own agenda. Uh, uh, and a little bit like the main character, the movie in a way tries to at a certain moment to be ironic, even maybe to mock him for a moment. But at the end, the movie surrender to his strange charm, which I think that, you know, arrives to the peak, to the top in this maybe bizarre, but I think also really moving scene when he, at least in the head or in the fantasy of the main character, is going back from work, you know, a little bit like in the show, a little like a cowboy who's going back home after a long day in the field, and dancing to his wife, to his younger wife, a lovely day. And 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 I think there's something warm there. There's something. I mean, it's almost impossible, I think, to stay alienated to this dance. It's a little bit like this song, you know. I mean, "Lovely Day." It sounds. It sounds stupid, but a song named "Lovely Day." But then when you hear the song,
You're in it.
yeah, you're in it. You're taken by something. I mean, your body starts to move, and suddenly you smile.
Yeah, it's a beautiful scene. And when we were talking, it's come up a few times, just talking about the kind of conflict with the landscape. I think another tension is created through your use of expressionistic camera work, the kind of frenetic spinning and the aggressive close-ups. How do you conceive of this approach? And is it something that's carefully planned, or is it more of experimentation while you're filming?
No, it's carefully planned. It's carefully planned. I mean, well, I think that from the very beginning, so from the first line of the script, it was clear to me that this movie, or the visual work or the camera work of the movie, should detach itself all the time from the concrete, from the dry, from the descriptive, from the objective, because the truth of the film is entirely subjective. I mean, and because it's a film that I think in each and every moment is on the edge of something, is on the edge of of crying, on the edge of of shouting, on the edge of collapsing. and it was clear that there are no mutual, almost no neutral moments in this film, you know, and each innocent exchange of words become bellicose one. Each hello is a declaration of war, or a desperate shout, and so I felt that I cannot let the camera remain dry. I cannot let the camera keep kind of distance. I must involve the camera. I must, you know, and it's complicated with the camera because the camera basically is a pretty dry and even antipathic tool. I mean, you know, people are suffering on the screen and the camera observes them from a distance. And in a way, I had to involve the camera inside it. I had to sometimes I felt that I had to make almost a kind of sabotage, like disable the camera to keep this distance. So I think, in a way, I mean, I think the cinematic work there is, in a way, going all the time deeper to the trying to capture the essence, the emotional, intellectual, ideological essence of each and every moment, making the camera another actor in the movie, and I felt that in order to get to such a boiling thing, you must enable chaos. You must enable the camera also to be chaotic. Now, being chaotic doesn't mean to improvise things on set, but I think that in a way, I mean, things were thought and prepared before, but I try to prepare or to construct mise-en-scène and shots where inside them the camera can be free and chaotic. I mean, to create a zone of possible liberty, to create situation where I can lose control, because I mean, you cannot control the chaos otherwise.
Yeah, it's incredible. Your films are really like nothing else, and I'm so pleased to have this in the festival this year. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today, for this powerful film, and for having it at AFI Fest. Thank you as well to our audience for attending and for your continued support. Please visit our website at fest.afi.com for more opportunities to engage with the festival. We would also love to hear from you on social media at #AFIFest. Thank you.
Thanks so much.